Welcome to Odd Spots, the show that explores the intriguing and eccentric things that people do. Have your thermal underwear handy. Today, it's Odd Spots on ice. We're going to be skating on thin ice in Germany. We'll follow in the footsteps of some cocky penguins. Go head over heels at the world's biggest skating rink. Make a splash with the insane ice swimmers of Switzerland. And it gets much weirder and much colder here on Odd Spots. You'll be familiar with the term green when talking golf. But here on the island of Svalbard in the northernmost territory of Norway, the greens are more white. This is ice golf, and conditions were perfect. Bright sunny skies and the possibility of temperatures dropping to minus 30 degrees Celsius. Ice golf has many of the usual pitfalls of regular golf. Just watch out for bunkers, keep your eye on the ball, and keep an eye out for polar bears. Along with caddies, ice golf organisers also employed a number of polar bear spotters. Positioned around the course and armed with powerful rifles, the spotters allowed the golfers to concentrate on their game. Nothing like being mauled by a bear to put you off your shot. Thermal underpants were the order of the day, with one competitor retiring after he got a hole-in-one. By the end of the game, the 9-hole course was covered in hard ice, making play extremely difficult. Most golfers I spoke to said playing with frozen balls was the biggest challenge. What's even more frightening than seeing overweight men in small bathing suits? Ice swimming. Some 300 racers took the icy plunge in the World Ice Pool Swimming Championships here in the Arctic north of Finland. These insane swimmers are covering 25 metres in a pool cut into a frozen lake. Hasn't anyone heard of solar heating? Ice swimming is said to have many health benefits. Well, that's according to the people who actually survived the freezing water. Essa Väisnen, 79, said that ice swimming kept her rheumatism under control. Now that both her legs have snapped off, she hardly feels a thing. A race doctor was on standby just in case anyone's heart stopped beating or for a more serious case of goosebumps. While winning seems secondary to participating in this sport, the competitive drive is what brought swimmers from 6 countries to Lapland. And whether you're trying to wake yourself up or recover from a big night on the bottle, ice swimming seems to be the ultimate shock treatment. Emergency. Can we have a robe and a bikini waxer to the pool immediately? This would have to be one of the most bizarre places in the world to stay. It's a hotel made completely of ice. This world first, built in the Swedish Arctic Circle, is a favourite with tourists looking for a holiday deep in the Ice Age. Just don't expect a warm welcome on your arrival. The Ice Hotel is an igloo built with 60-centimetre ice blocks, and that means things can get a little chilly. Hope you packed your bed socks. The high season at the Ice Hotel is limited because once the warmer spring weather arrives, the hotel turns into a swimming pool. The room service menu includes ice cream, frozen meals and cold cuts. And a vodka and ligonberry juice served in an ice glass is a must before braving the icy bedrooms. And what do you get from sitting on a block of ice in the Arctic? Polaroids. Well, that's what one too many vodka and Ligonberry juices will do to you. With temperatures hitting -8 in the bedrooms, I'd advise going to the bathroom before you go to bed. You're going to be rubbing more than noses to keep warm tonight. So, after a week on the deep freeze at the world's only ice hotel, what's next? I think a week in the Bahamas to thaw out. Mush! Mush! I've always wanted to say that. Welcome to Alaska, where the locals are getting ready to go for a spin. Dog sled racing is Alaska's version of a Sunday drive. This primitive version of polar travel is still the most effective. I mean, a car can be good, but dogs don't get flat tyres. Okay, so we'll go here, here, round there, back there and home. Got it? No, I said turn left. Who was the bright spark that opened a can of dog food? Nice hat, and this is what can happen to disobedient sled dogs. I hope he's got some plastic bags with him. Alaskan authorities insist you clean up after your dog. Now, if there's one guy who doesn't mind the cold, it's good old Santa Claus. And living in the North Pole, it's no wonder he needs a fair bit of insulation. This is the first ever International Santa Claus Championships, held in Norway. What with the European Union setting standards in most industries, it was time for the world of Kris Kringle to brush up on their health and safety issues. About 40 Santa's helpers attended the St. Nicholas Trade Union Conference, where there was some disagreement over waist size, plum pudding consumption, and drinking brandy while operating a sleigh. The vote to change Santa's outfit from red to blue was also overthrown. But the true test for any Santa was the obstacle course. The course was designed to test agility and speed. Santa has to be nimble on his feet, able to squeeze down chimneys and keep up with the elves. Maybe he should lay off the milk and cookies. In the end, the conference had to be cut short. The weather was just too cold for the judges. But rest assured, all the Santas passed with flying colours, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was voted in as shop steward. Most cars need a little time to warm up in the morning, but this car in Lithuania might need more than a jump start. This group of car tuners has carved a life-size sculpture of a racing car out of ice. Has anyone got a can of antifreeze on them? Apparently, car tuners exist all over the world and are enthusiasts who use various technical improvements to make their cars go faster and bore non-mechanical people. Well, go your hardest, boys, but I think you'll have a hard time getting this car out of the garage. Ah yes, wouldn't be a hot rod show without dry ice. The organiser of the day said, with the help of ice, we wanted to show the public what car tuning can be like. I can't quite see the connection, but hey, it kept you boys entertained. Hello, Automobile Club, can you help me? I've got a frozen windshield. When we all scream for ice cream, you might as well have the best. And this is where you'll get it, at Serendipity, a New York ice cream parlour where they have created the Golden Opulence Sundae. This isn't your typical ice cream sundae, and with a price tag of $1,000, it wouldn't want to be. When I asked the chef where he learnt to make such a decadent treat, he told me it was at Sunday school. Here's the recipe. First, you take 5 balls of vanilla ice cream, cover this with gold leaf, Then add caviar infused in passion fruit nectar, topped with candied fruit and the most expensive chocolate from Venezuela. Ice cream, caviar and fruit. Nah, give me chocolate chip any day. The ice cream now carries the title of the world's most expensive sundae, and there's one saving grace. At least you get to keep the crystal dish. And for regular people who can't talk someone else into paying, there's always the $12 version. And no, you can't keep the dish. You are paying, right? Forget Disneyland, forget Waterworld, and visit Ice World in the northern German city of Lübeck, where the whole family can experience frostbite. Organisers of this year's Ice World have been busy freezing ice for 6 weeks, ready for the ice artists to turn this into a frozen wonderland. Just one word of advice, and I say this from experience: don't try and lick any of the ice sculptures. Wet tongues and ice have a powerful attraction. 15 teams with 2 people each compete in the International Contest of Ice Sculpture. We're not just talking about ice cubes in the shape of smiley faces. These guys go all out. Just watch where you're walking. Artists use chainsaws and chisels to get the best effect for their sculptures. This year's motto is Fantasy on Ice, and my fantasy would be to see some of these sculptures surrounded by prawns, oysters and smoked salmon. Art director of the exhibition, Gert Hödel, said most of these sculptures are the highest level of display in the world, and at least they were until someone turned the heating on. Don't look at me, no one saw me, I can't prove a thing. The finished products certainly create a glittering winter wonderland, and with so many elderly people visiting the display, the rumour is that next year's exhibition will include cryogenics. Or maybe that plan's being kept on ice. If you thought ice golf was extreme, try this on for size. Ice skating, hard enough in itself, staged 150 feet in the air on the first story of France's Eiffel Tower. Organisers say that there's no fear of skaters falling off the tower, and all security measures are in place. Well, at least they are now that they've realised most people can't stop in ice skates. Around 80 people, make that 79, are skating on the rink at any one time, with 200 square metres of room to break their necks on. But just how did they get all that ice up the stairs of the Eiffel Tower? The daring practiced spins and figure eights, while those without a head for heights clung to the edge for dear life. Some 6 million people climb the 324-metre-high Eiffel Tower every year, and officials are hoping to get them all into skates. That's going to make going up all those stairs very difficult. Yes, okay, so you're good, but no one likes a show-off, especially in a short skirt. What is it with people jumping into icy water? Here in Geneva, locals celebrate the arrival of the Christmas season with a freezing dip in Lake Geneva. No, I think I'll stick with pulling a Christmas cracker, thanks. The city is known for its ski slopes and now its extreme swimming, with this competition open to everyone, young and wrinkly. And as if jumping into a lake at 6 below with air temperature at -5 wasn't silly enough, some swimmers felt the need for fancy dress as well. Looks like a few of these guys were hitting the eggnog before the race. For 67 years, nutters from around the world have gathered here in Geneva to race in the freezing waters. Yes, there's nothing like welcoming Christmas with a brisk swim and a horrific case of hypothermia. Polar bears, the carnivores of the Arctic, and this big fella is off to find a feed of fish. But scientists are keen to learn more about polar bears, and that means getting up close and personal. For this job, you have to be extremely brave and carry tranquilizers. It was suspected that this bear was actually part grizzly, part panda. Scientists thought he may not be a pure polar bear when he kept complaining that he was freezing cold. Whoa! Fish breath. Has anyone got a mint? Polar bears grow to an incredible 3 meters long and weigh 800 kilograms. Their favourite foods are seals and scientists. How embarrassing. I hope your polar bear buddies aren't watching this. Scientists told me the one important rule of polar bear tagging: get back into the helicopter before the anaesthetic wears off. Here in Germany, locals are putting down their sauerkraut and taking to the ice. This is Europe's biggest skating rink, and more skaters means more skating accidents. When the thrill of the ice is worn off, you can skid over to the 70-metre-long bar for a stiff drink. And what could go wrong? Drinking scalding hot mulled wine while wearing ice skates. Is there a hospital close by? Here at Munich Zoo, it's hard to know whether the people are here to see the penguins or the penguins are here to see the people. The official penguin waddling season has begun, and these little guys like nothing more than strutting their stuff in front of hundreds of spectators and other zoo inmates. Zookeepers say it's the call of the wild that makes the penguins want to walk, but I suspect this gang is organising a jailbreak. In their formal tuxedos, the penguins are better dressed than most of the visitors. Plans are now underway to let the penguins walk a little further afield, with shopping trips, a pub crawl and an excursion to the local fish market all on the cards. A similar idea for free-rein elephant sessions has been crushed. Tokyo has had one of its hottest summers on record, and with temperatures reaching 30 degrees Celsius, you'd think locals would be wearing bikinis and basking in the sun. Instead, one neighbourhood in downtown Tokyo has ordered in 20 tons of snow. You can't sell ice to the Eskimos, but you can sell snow to the Japanese. The Japanese Snow Festival lasts for 3 days, and as you'd imagine, in the summer sun, the sculptures have to be redone with new snow every day. Maybe next year you might consider having the festival in winter. Logistically, it would be a lot simpler. Keep going. This is going to be one big slush puppy. The children of the neighbourhood obviously loved the snow, but I think a lot of the adults enjoyed it even more. Okay, toboggans away. Ooh, that'll be a nasty case of ice burn. Say cheese, please, or icicle, or my bottom is stuck to this toboggan. Okay, so you're having an exhibition on Iceland, but how are you going to promote it? Well, nothing says Iceland like ice. Here in Paris, an iceberg weighing 22 tons sits on the footpath to attract passers-by. And this is thick ice. It's lasted for 2 weeks. A giant iceberg in the middle of the footpath. Welcome to the world of injury compensation. If you're dreaming of a white Christmas, Russians are dreaming of a heat wave. Weather patterns around the world are going crazy, and here in downtown Moscow, they've had the heaviest snowfalls in the past 70 years. This is the sort of weather where you get chilblains on your chilblains. And with the temperatures expected to plunge to an incredible minus 15 degrees Celsius, I don't think you'll be seeing many brass monkeys on the streets. These conditions can be a real kick in the ice hole, with transport and communication down. Though, on the bright side, it's a brilliant excuse for not turning up for work. Howling winds and snowfalls not seen since 1933 saw most Russians turning up the electric blanket and staying under the bed covers. Help! I think my feet are frozen to the doorstep. Trips outdoors were for emergencies only, like stocking up on chocolate, hiring videos, or ordering fish and chips. Who knew the sport of ice sculpture had become so popular? Here's another gathering in Antwerp, where 40 artists used 250 tons of ice and 100 tons of snow for their display. Yes, it's all quite amazing, but one question. Why are all these ice and snow activities happening in places that don't have any ice and snow? Some people just have to do things the hard way. Please send help. I have been frozen into my ice sculpture. I don't know about you, but I find ice sculptors, well, a little cold. What do you do if you just can't stand the sight of ice and snow for 1 minute longer? You build your own tropical paradise. The world's largest indoor tropical island has opened in Germany, with a sandy beach, palm grove and grass-wearing islanders. Now that's making good use of the back shed. All that's missing is the skipper and Gilligan. At a cost of 70 million euros, Germans now have surf, sun and sand on their doorstep. On second thoughts, I'm in the mood for snowboarding. Well, that's it for this teeth-chattering episode of Odd Spots. Our ice-capades have come to an end. It wasn't a case of hot dogs for these canines in Alaska. And there was certainly no burning rubber in the ice car in Lithuania. One expensive way to get an ice cream headache, the $1,000 sundae in New York. I'd like to see Tiger Woods give this a go. Ice golf in Norway. We don't know why they do it, but we're glad they do, because we've put them all together and made a TV show. See you next time on Odd Spots.